Hello and welcome to today's horses and my journey with horsemanship. I'm here today with, come here, wake up, with my horse Nakona, and we are going to go for a little ride, and I'm going to talk today about riding your horse in hot weather. So I am here today also with a few of my barn friends. I have Beck and Tova and there's Lily, and Violet is the first one to comment. Hey Violet, how's it going? Okay, so here's the deal. Here's what I'm gonna do, guys, is I'm going to get on my horse. I'm gonna turn on my microphone so you can hear me when I'm riding. And Beck's gonna be here to kind of work the camera a little bit. And she's also going to holler out some questions if you guys have anything. Hey Tara, sorry you had to leave. Next time. So I'm going to say this too, Friday. So today is Tuesday. On Friday, we're going to be doing a live stream video from the barn with all my crew here. So you guys are definitely going to want to tune in if you want to meet all my crew. If you want to meet everybody who's been kind of talking on here and stuff, go ahead and chime in on Friday, and I'll try to notify you guys as quick or as soon as possible so you know what time. So, all right, I'm going to go ahead and turn the camera around and hand it over to Beck and hop on. So Violet, yes, you're going to be here too. So Violet's like, wait, what time on Friday? Violet, you're going to be here too. So we're doing this like partly for you.
Woo,
so
Violet's going to be
yep,
here.
Violet's going to be here. Woohoo! Okay, guys, so I am going to, let's see.
Your barn is going to be crowded.
It is. All right, I'm going to unplug my charger, turn on my microphone. Oh my gosh, so many things to deal with. I definitely need a double connected thing here. Let's see. Can you hear me okay with that microphone on? Once I get going, I guess you can tell me if it's not. All right. I'm going to turn this around. Okay. And we are ready to roll. All right, Beck, it's all you. Come on, lazy bones. Now, I don't remember the last time I rode Nakona, actually. I'm sure it probably was on a video. And I don't think that I had, a bit on her. So, I don't remember the last time I rode her with a bit. I've been riding her in a halter pretty much, probably since October, at least, I would guess. Now, today is 91 degrees, I think, at the warmest. And, sorry, Nakona. So today's topic is riding your horses in hot weather. Well, there's some special precautions that I take when I ride my horses in hot weather. So I kind of wanted to go over those a little bit. First of all, this horse is super out of shape, and because I haven't ridden her in, like I said, I don't know how long. But can you guys give a thumbs up if you can hear okay? I want to make sure that this mic is working. Beck, is anybody giving a thumbs up that it's working? Okay, good. Good. Thanks, guys. I appreciate that. Today, it's 90 degrees, and so it's pretty hot for where we live. We live in Michigan, and so 90 is definitely pretty steamy, and we have very humid weather here. So 90 degrees feels a lot hotter than it really is because of the humidity. So we've got tons of flies and everything bothering the horses, so they're sweating and they're stomping and just having kind of, some trouble. So I think it's easier for them when it's 20 degrees and snowing, or even probably 10 below and snowing, than it is when it's 90 degrees and humid and the bugs are bad. I think they'd probably prefer that. Personally, I think my horses do the best at about 40 degrees. So as you can see here, my horse is swishing. Once we get trotting and moving, the bugs won't bother her as bad. But I want to take my time to warm her up. I always want to give my horse an adequate warm-up, about 10 minutes, because I want to get those joints, the fluid in those joints moving really good. And you can't really get that unless you have continuous movement for 10 minutes or so. So if you want to prevent injuries, the best thing to do is to give your horse a really good warm-up. A good cool down is important as well. I did just fly spray her. But with the weather conditions the way they are today, there's not a whole lot, get off my leg please, there's not a whole lot that is going to touch the flies today to make much of a difference. So as you saw, I just kind of had to get after her a little bit because she's completely ignoring my leg. So when my leg goes on her, it means you should move. And if she doesn't respond to that, I give her a little tap with my whip. Whenever I don't ride her for a while, I make sure to always have either a spur on or a whip in my hand because she has a tendency to really want to lean and just kind of avoid or ignore, your aids. So it's good to have it just as a little reminder that yes, you do need to do this. This horse is a lot more work to ride than she looks. I chose to ride bareback today. I typically ride this horse bareback because I don't really have a saddle that fits her so great. No matter how much I ride this horse, it seems like she is just really, really chubby. So it pushes my saddle forward. So I just choose to ride her bareback, and she's very comfortable to ride anyway, and I like riding bareback. It's quick, it's easy, it's comfortable. All right, I'm going to warm her up into a trot. I like to set a timer for my warm-up, but I use my phone for that. Of course, I don't have that on me because I'm videoing with it. I hope my microphone stays put. I have it taped to my chest, so I hope it doesn't come off considering how hot and humid it is. We'll see. Oh my goodness, we have a new horse. We have a new horse that just arrived today. I'm not going to tell you anything about him yet, but you guys will definitely learn about him. Tova. Tova. Pardon me while I just stop my daughter from spilling the beans. She's really good at ruining surprises. You never want to tell her something that you get somebody as a gift. Okay, so I'm just trotting around here, trying to just let her sort of loosen up, trying to work on some straightness. She's wanting to lean into the center. I want to go on a relatively loose rein. I'm going to work on a couple of changes of direction. I'm going to go through the box. I'm going to use my right leg to say move over towards the rail. But right there, she's leaning. I carry my whip in my inside hand to reinforce my inside leg. If I'm having a problem with the outside leg for some reason, my horse wasn't responding to the outside leg, I would carry my whip in my outside hand. I've only had to do that in situations like where I'm working on a haunches in, or a horse is having a hard time picking up the correct lead. Those situations, that's when I'll change direction. So my right leg's going to come back a little bit, left leg forward a little bit. So when it's warm like it is today, this horse is going to get hot pretty quick. She's going to huff and puff. So I'm going to try to, she huffs and puffs anyway, but I'm going to try to not overdo it, her work, because I don't want her to be uncomfortable. So I always have to be really particular with kids, especially the ones that lease. Kids love to canter horses, and they want to canter, canter, canter. So, get off my leg. We have to really let them know, they just don't know. They don't understand. So, we have to make sure that we let them know that we need to really think about the horse and not overdo it, because we don't want our horse to suffer getting too hot. They get heat exhaustion too. Right here, she's not moving off my leg, so I will firm up on her and let her know to move over. This horse has a tendency to be a bit of a bully. A bully with, there, good girl. She's a bully with the other horses. And I find that the horses that are like that typically try to kind of push the humans around a little bit too. So she will lean into me, just like she'll lean into the horses out in the pasture. No, she's thinking that she wants to canter. No, we're not cantering. I just want you to move your bum over. Thank you, just like that. Good. Okay, we're gonna walk. I'm gonna sit tall. Good girl. How many people we have there, Beck? Cool. Well, thank you all so much for joining today. I've really missed doing these live videos, but gosh, I have had so much happening that it just really isn't much of an option anymore. So I'm trying my darndest to get you guys some edited videos. I only have a few of Manzer to get edited until his playlist is completely done. So if you haven't seen Manzer's playlist, go ahead and check that out. Right here, I'm just asking her to move her hindquarters around. You can see she's swishing her tail at the bugs, but she's also swishing her tail at me, because if I ask her to move over with my leg and she doesn't want to, she'll give me a little swish. That's her protesting it. That has gotten a lot better than it used to be, but she still will do it. I'm going to slow the front end down a little bit, move the hind end around a little bit more. Good, there. So now, right now, she's already leaning to my right. So I want to make sure that I catch that right away. Again, she's leaning, get over, thank you. You can walk. Gosh, I have not ridden this horse in so long. So now I'm asking her with my body, go ahead and slow down. But she's thinking that she needs to go forward, so that's why she gave a couple little chews on her bit there. She was confused. She's like, but I think I'm supposed to go forward. And I was not saying forward, I was saying move over. So lots of walking and just kind of splitting it up a lot when it's hot like this. I still ride my horses, but I don't want to overdo it. I'll come straight down the middle. I'm going to do a haunches in. The haunches are going to come to her left. We got like a little wormy move there. She's kind of all over the place. So Beck said, somebody just said, how long would I work out a horse in hot weather? It depends. I've been to plenty of horse shows in hot weather. Move your butt over. I'm asking her to move her butt over, and she's ignoring me. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the interruption of the question. But so as far as riding in hot weather, horse shows, it seems like every time that I've ever been to a horse show, it's been at least 90 degrees. And those are the only 90-degree days that we seem to get, our horse show days. So, but we just really make sure that we offer our horses a lot of water, try to keep them in the shade when we're not in the ring, and, you know, or put them in the stall so they can kind of relax. Horses are really good at moderating their body temperature, but we want to make sure that we don't overexert them. So I give them a lot of breaks. So I try to stay out of a warm-up pen as much as possible. You know, just do what's necessary, but that's it. So on days like today where it's pretty warm, like it's going to cool off quite a bit tonight. So I wouldn't think anything of going for a trail ride or something tonight for a couple of hours. But I don't want to really give my horse too hard of a workout. So what you're going to see here today is pretty much is the extent of what I get. And honestly though, going out on a trail ride, it's a lot cooler in the woods than it is in this arena. You know, it seems like a lot of times my metal arena is hotter than outside temperatures in the summer. You know, we don't get the sunshine in here, so it's nice to have the shade, but it's hot. And then in the winter, it's colder in here. It's like an ice box. So right here, what I'm doing is I'm asking her to move her hindquarters over more as we come around our corners. She's real pushy with her hindquarters right now, so I'm just trying to work on those. But I'm keeping it nice and easy. This is probably, what I'm asking her to do right now is probably as much work as standing in the field and stomping. So honestly, she's not nearly as bothered by the bugs in here, so. But I'll give her nice little breaks in between. So we started lessons back up yesterday in my barn, and it's been so exciting. We had, we're only doing private lessons right now, and I have Becky Carly giving lessons. I'm not actually back to work yet as far as giving lessons, but I am, you know, working with some horses, that sort of stuff. So I'll be back to doing lessons as soon as I can do groups, and I'm not sure when that's going to be. And I also have, like, for me, I'll be working with some specific things to, like, horses that have a little bit more of a problem, or you know, younger riders or riders who need assistance getting on, that sort of stuff. I'll work with those types of riders. Okay, we're going to try a canter out of a walk. We'll see if we can get it first shot after not being ridden for so long. Usually the first one's sort of a dud, and then we have a do-over, and then it goes good from there. So we shall see. I'll wait a moment here. Maybe by the Tractor Supply sign is when I'll get her all set up for it. So the life in my body comes up, and then the life in her body comes up. She's trying to push the hindquarters in a little bit, so I'm really having to work my right leg, let her know, so, and see how she's kind of bringing her head low. I don't want that. I want her head to stay up, because she can't balance when she has her head down super low. I don't like when they get back that far. I'm going to sit, trot, and we're going to do a left lead canter. Okay, she's getting a little low in the head again. I don't like that. So when they're on balance, they'll do that a lot of times. I want her pull to be the highest point. So I'm going to fix her up with my legs here. Got to take the hindquarters to the outside a little bit, and her shoulder to the inside a little bit. There, and her head will come up. But it's all about balancing that body and not letting them get bendy on one side or too straight on the other. So you got to kind of I always look at it as I have a right horse and a left horse. I don't like her head low like that. Push the hindquarters out, her head automatically comes up because when her hindquarters drift in, she's too bendy. She's out of balance. There, that's a lot better. Good girl. And we're gonna trot. I'll give her a little break. And then I'll work on a little counter canter today. So if anybody has any questions right now while I'm riding, feel free to pop up on the screen, and Beck will let me know if she sees something that pertains to what we're talking about today. Yeah, it depends on the horse. So if I see a horse like this horse when I went to catch her, she was huffing and puffing pretty good. I can tell that she is hot. You know, some of our horses still have a winter coat. So, and if a horse is used to it, that's one thing. But it all depends. So 90 degrees here is hot. Where 90 degrees somewhere else might not be hot. You know, I have a whole video on that. If you go into, I have a whole video that's going to explain it perfectly, but I'll explain it when I ask her for a little counter canter. I'm just going to give her a little break first before I do that. I'll explain that to you, Tova. So my daughter's asking me what a counter canter is. If you go into Nakona's playlist on my channel, I have a video all on cantering. And I'm explaining everything as I'm doing it and doing the true lead and then counter cantering. So that's a good place to see it all in depth. I'll talk about it just a little bit though as I ask her for counter canter. Like I said, I'm just going to give her a little bit of a break. We're going to back up. So she's being a little sticky here. Need to get the life up in her feet. Whenever their head gets down real low, the feet get sticky as well. They get really heavy on the forehand. You get a bug? There, she's got a bug she has to get. When they get really heavy on the forehand, they get hard to move their feet. So when their head gets too low, right, there's good. When their head gets too low, they get heavy on the forehand.
Would a new rider start with leg instruction or just staying on properly?
Just staying on the horse. So let me explain that. So Beck just said, somebody asked, when a brand new rider is starting out, do you start with leg instruction or just staying on the horse? When I start riders out, I put them on a lunge line typically, and a lot of times I start them bareback. It just depends on the rider. And they learn how to sit at a walk and trot. They learn how to post, picking up correct diagonals depending on their age. And we do a ton of balancing exercises before I ever hand reins over. And I don't worry about them using their legs for steering the horse so much. I just focus on them staying on the horse. We work on getting the horse to go forward and how to slow them down with our seat and that sort of thing. But to me, it's more important to me for a rider to learn how to use their body just to stay on and their legs to steer and guide the horse and slow them up and speed them up and all that, and then use reins. So reins are really the last thing that I want to give a rider. What's the purpose of a counter canter? Strengthening. And just to be able to do it, it's a difficult maneuver for a lot of horses. So to be able to do it, it just makes your leads so much stronger, because if you can get if you can get a counter canter off of a horse, if you can get a counter canter out of a horse, you're more than likely going to get the correct lead all of the time when you ask for it. So I like to make sure that my leads are really strong on horse. You know, with my lesson horses, we don't work on counter cantering with beginner riders. So for my lesson horses, I just want them to pick up the lead that they know they should be picking up as they're going around in a circle. But my more advanced horses, I want to make sure that they can counter canter.
What causes them to have sticky feet?
What causes them to have sticky feet? So a horse will have sticky feet when they aren't really sure what to do with them, or when they're heavy on the front end. So when a horse is balanced and they're light, their feet are not sticky, okay? So I want my horses to be light on their feet, not have sticky feet.
Do you have any videos on how to pick a good trainer when looking to take lessons?
Do I have any videos on how to pick a good trainer when taking lessons? No. I don't know if I have one of those or not, now that I'm thinking about it. No, that's a good idea, though, and the right trainer. I don't think I do. I may have talked about it here and there, but.
They said, how do you get them to do that? It looks pretty, I think they're talking about your leg build.
So somebody asked, how do I get my horse to do that? It looks pretty. So I'm not sure if you're asking about the side passing or the turnarounds I had her do. This is a side pass. So this is me asking her just to walk sideways. And when I do that, I typically will add in a backup or a forward step before asking to go the other way. Now I'm going to side pass her back over this way. She's like, wait a minute, I got to kick out a fly. Get your butt over. You can see here, see that hind end not keeping up as good? Her hind end doesn't go that way as well, okay? So now I'm going to do a turnaround, and a turnaround is a turn on the haunch. So I'm going to take the front end and walk it around the hind. So if you watch her right hind foot, it will sort of spin a little hole in the ground, okay? So this is a turnaround or turn on the haunch, and I'll take her the other direction. Now her left hind foot will stay put, and she'll make sort of a pentagon shape right around it. When she gives me one step where she tries really, really hard, right there, that's when I'll stop. So now I'll also do a turn on the forehand, so you can see what that is. So a turn on the forehand, I want to keep her left front foot still, and move the hind end around it. Scooch over. Good. And now we'll go the other way. So as you can see, my right leg comes back a little bit, left leg isn't doing anything, and I just kind of walk her around that inside foot. Good girl. So I hope I answered that question. So a side pass is basically just it's a leg yield with no forward motion. Leg yield is when you're going forward and you ask them to side pass, basically, you'll kind of like make an angle across the arena.
And someone kind of asking what a counter canter is.
Okay, someone else is asking what a counter canter is. So I'll explain that as I do it. And I'll just give you guys the basic rundown. But like I said, if you want to learn more about the counter canter or about leads, how to pick up a correct lead, go into Nokona's playlist on my channel and you'll see my cantering video on there. I know I've got it in a couple other playlists too, but I know you can find it there because I was riding her. So I organize all my videos into playlists based on horse and by topic, really. So if there's something in particular that you really want to see, like if you want to learn more about Nokona, go to her playlist and you can learn all about her. If you want to learn about Manzer's life, go to his playlist and you can see his entire life story, including his birth. So I'm going to take off going to the left for starters. Excuse me. All right, and I'm going to pick up my left lead canter. I gotta liven her up a little bit, so I want her energy to match my energy. And right now, I am saying, hey, let's get moving. I'm not actually asking her for the canter yet, but you have to feel the energy in the horse come up before you can ask for that faster gait. So she has to be ready for the canter. So people will ask, well, how do you get a canter from a walk, right out of a walk? Well, you gotta have the horse's energy up. So like right now, I'm saying get your energy up. She doesn't need to go into a trot, she just needs to pay attention to my leg. I'm not gonna ask her for a canter now when she's trotting, because I want her to walk. I just want her to walk with some more impulsion. So we're walking, thank you, okay. And here we go, canter. Good. Now, I'm gonna take her to a trot. As soon as I get to that hey chick sign. Good, now I'm gonna pick up the right lead. This is gonna be a little hard for her. She's like, I haven't had to do that in a while. We're gonna trot. She's just charging along. She's like, that was really hard. It took all of her balance to get that figured out. Now, see how her head's getting a little low again? I don't want her head low. Usually when her head is too low, something's out of whack with her body. Okay, we're gonna canter on the left lead again. So the left front leg is the leading leg. I'll stop at that hey chick sign again, and I'll ask for the other lead there. So we're gonna trot, and I'm gonna ask for the right lead. So now her right leg is her leading leg. I'll come down to a trot again. Now the true canter. Good. So I'm on the right lead. This side is a little harder to get her counter canter because her left side is her weaker side. So I'm going to get on the rail here and I'm going to ask her for her left lead. Oh, see? So as soon as I feel it not coming correctly, I'm going to bring her back down. Okay, and let's go. Good girl. Now her left leg is the leading leg. This was really hard for her. Now we're going to trot. This was hard for her to pick up the counter canter on that side because it requires a lot of balance and she just was super weak on that side. When I get to the other wall here, I'm going to go to a trot again. Good, and now I'm going to ask for, look at stuff, left lead canter. Oh, see how she broke? So I'm going to ask for that again. It was just a little hard for her to take it into the corner. Good girl, and she offered it to me right away. So I'm going to let her carry it through the corner. Good girl, I gave her a longer ring. Good, now I'm going to trot. Good girl. Bring her down. I hope that answers some questions regarding the canter. But like I said, go to that other video and you'll see a lot more of that in detail. It's not a very long video, but. Okay, any other questions I can answer while I'm cooling my horse down? How do I feel about riding horses that have been trained with draw reins? Oh, make me barf. I don't like draw reins at all. I think that they create so many issues in the horse and they're so confusing to the horse. I think that you can get what you're looking for by having a horse who has a balanced body. They don't need their head pulled down. If anything, it's going to cause issues everywhere else. So draw reins are not something, draw reins and side reins. Side reins I can see for maybe like vaulting, honestly, just to keep the horse super straight. But even with that, I think that that can be accomplished with a really balanced horse, an aged horse that's trained, has has had good training, I think that can be accomplished without the side reins. But so yeah, I don't like gimmicks. I don't like gimmicks at all. I think that horses, if you put the time into a horse, you're going to get back what you want. But if you try to take shortcuts, you're going to get a shortcut. Somebody's asking Western or English, which do I prefer? I like my Western boots better. I like tried bareback a lot. I am a barrel racer at heart, so that's Western saddle. But I love riding my English saddle on the trail, and I love to jump. So I love it all. I absolutely love everything. I can't give you one that I prefer over the other. Somebody's asking, how do I deal with an anxious horse that rushes? Slow down a lot and give them a job to do where they're having to think more. So if you keep their mind occupied on things more, then their feet have no choice but to kind of slow down and pay attention. So do more technical stuff, slow down, like doing a lot of things at a walk, like trying to slow the feet as much as you can. So like with Nakona, I'll work right now on getting her feet to really slow down, and I'll see if I can get her to even just sort of be at a crawl where she's just kind of lifting one foot at a time. Get the horse searching for what you're looking for, and so they don't think that they just need to hurry through everything. So after I do this really slow walk, then I'll take the life up and I'll get the fastest walk I can get. Whoops, without getting a trot. But that's okay. If she does take a trot, I don't worry about it. I just take her back down to a walk. So I'm going to sit tall, relax. And if she doesn't get the memo, then she'll feel my reins. Okay, so I'll slow back down to a crawl again. With a horse that rushes, a lot of work with the hindquarters too. But lots of this stuff. This gets a horse thinking and waiting for the next response. And you can think about it too. If your horse rushes, maybe you rush too. I know that runs true for me. My horses are 100% direct reflection of me. And I have horses who rush, and I know why. Because I've rushed through things with them.
Why that high head carriage? How do you avoid a horse holding their back when you ask for a higher head carriage?
You don't ask. Okay, somebody's asking, how do you prevent a hollow back when asking for a higher head carriage? Well, here's the thing, is you don't ask for a head carriage. You get the body balanced where it needs to be, and then the head will take care of itself. So if you make sure that your horse is balanced through its body, everything is straight, you don't have to worry about that because the head will go where it needs to be. But if you're so focused on a headset, then your horse is going to end up carrying its head very high and have a hollowed back. I hope that helps. When I'm looking for a horse, what is my number one priority? Well, I'm never looking for a horse. They always find me. So, but for general public, depending on the person, you should find a horse that's better, more knowledgeable than you are, depending on your goals. So my goals are, I like to start horses. Now I've gotten to the point where I don't even want horses that anybody else has touched. I like to be the one that does everything with them. But that doesn't work out for, say, somebody who is 12, for instance. We just use that as an example. Somebody who's 12 with no experience definitely doesn't want to go out and get a 3-year-old on rural court. So I have a general rule of thumb that the age of the horse and the age of the rider needs to equal at least 20. So, I work with a lot of kids, so I kind of use that for kids. But that's general rule. I start with that. So that way I don't have 7 or 8-year-old kids ending up with 3 or 4-year-old horses. And there are exceptions to the rule, of course. It depends on the rider's experience level, but that's just a baseline of where I start. So I want to find, if I have a 12-year-old, I'll say, well, let's find a horse that's about around the age of 8 and has had, if that horse was started as a 3-year-old and had roughly 5 years of riding, that's going to be a fairly experienced horse. And, it all depends on the quality of the riding. So it depends on who's been riding this horse and what that horse has been exposed to. So I want to make sure that I have a horse that's very knowledgeable for a beginner rider. But a rider that's more advanced can take on a horse that has a lot less knowledge, and that rider can bring them along because they're knowledgeable. I hope that answers the question properly. Where did I get my hat? I did just do a video on that. Thank you for asking. I've been having a hard time with wearing this hat. It's so darn comfortable, and I love wearing it. But it's a different style than what I'm used to. But it's so comfortable, and I highly recommend it. I just did a live video last week on this hat and how I shaped it, but it's from Sunbody. So if you go to sunbody.com, this is the Rayada collection. That's where I got it. But they're super cool. They're easy to shape, and I absolutely love it. So people are asking if the flies are a nuisance because Nakona's twitching. Yes, flies are always a nuisance, but what we have to deal with. So she has been sprayed, but the flies are so bad right now, there's really not much that's going to help. I did just recently order some called shoe fly leggings, and I'm waiting for them to come in. They haven't come in yet. They haven't shipped yet. But those will be fun. I thought those might be something that we could use when we ride. I do have some other types of fly leggings for horses, but I feel like they used to fall down or something. So I don't remember why I haven't been using them, but I feel like that's why. So I'm going to try these ones out, see how they work. But yeah, there's really not much you can do about it. And, this horse needs some exercise, so we ride when we can. But the more she moves, the less the flies bother her. So going for a ride is good. And it's definitely not good for them to stand around and stomp. But horses are so cool. Like they can feel a fly land on them anywhere and just sort of twitch their skin and make that fly get off of them. So that's pretty cool. So if you think about how light a horse is, that they can feel a fly land on them and then pinpoint that location and twitch them off. Think about how light horses are, how sensitive they are, and then think about how we just kind of, can be pretty rough with our legs and with our hands and stuff. And I think the ultimate goal is to be as light of a rider as you can so that your horse is light.
What would be a good horse for arthritic riders, specifically talking about an Icelandic horse?
So what would be, say that again, Beck?
What would be a good horse for an arthritic rider?
What would be a good horse for an arthritic rider? So gaited horses are absolutely fabulous, or just a smooth riding horse in general. Like this horse is very smooth to ride. So I think that somebody that had some arthritis, wouldn't have too much of an issue on a horse like this. But oh my gosh, gaited horses are fantastic. I've ridden, oh my gosh, I cannot think of the name. Not Missouri Foxtrotter. Oh my gosh. No, Tennessee Walkers are very smooth. As long as you get one that naturally gaits very well. But I've been on Tennessee Walkers that pace, and that's horrible to ride. Rocky Mountain horse is what I was trying to think of. Rocky Mountain horses are fantastic to ride. And I've been on Paso Finos. Those are wonderful as well. All very, very smooth rides. The Paso Fino was super cool. I was on a pretty good one last year. But definitely, I think those are the only gaited breeds that I've worked with. But gaited horses are so cool. So if you've got any kind of aches and pains or stiff joints or anything, that would be certainly the way to go. Is Nakona a leopard appy, somebody's asking. Leopard appy is not actually even a recognized color by the Appaloosa Horse Association. I think she's considered a bay roan, but that sounds kind of dumb to me. She doesn't look anything like a roan. But so Appaloosa, leopard Appaloosa is just kind of a slang term that people use. And I mean, if you say leopard Appaloosa, people know what it looks like. People are asking what a Rocky Mountain horse is. It's a gaited breed. So they typically are darker colors, I believe. I had 2 Rocky Mountain horses here for training a couple of years ago. They're both black, absolutely beautiful, really, really smooth riding gaited horses. So you should just Google them. They're pretty awesome.
Do you like bitless?
Do I like bitless? It depends. Do I like to ride my horse in a halter? My horse who is very well trained and understands all of my leg cues and what I'm asking? Yes, I do like to ride her. Huh? Okay. So yes, I do like to ride my horse in a halter bitless because she is responsive to me. But I'll give you a good example of bitless. My daughter was riding the other day on her pony, and she wanted to ride in her. She has like a little bitless bridle. It's just kind of a side pull, and her pony was being he was a little worried about his friends, and so she was having some troubles steering him because he was more interested in what his friends were doing. Had she had a bit in his mouth, she would have had a little bit more leverage to be able to do what she was asking to do. She's only 7 years old, so she's pretty little, and if he wants to pull her around, he can. So in that situation, she should have had her bridle on, but she really likes to use the other one. So, or she should have had her bit on him. And I don't feel like you can get the same things accomplished in a bitless bridle that you can a snaffle bit. I think a snaffle bit is an excellent way to give a horse a good foundation because it gives precise communication, where a bitless bridle I think can get really confusing and frustrating depending on the horse, depending on the rider, and depending on the amount of education between both of them. There's my long-winded answer to that question. Okay, so, well, that's it for today's video, and I'm going to try to get you guys something else very soon, some edited videos, and thank you all for joining so much. I will see you in the next one. Bye.